Welcome to the Stars of Fintech, the series of interviews organized by European Digital Finance Association. And we are hosted now in Brussels by Digital Finance Summit and Fintech Belgium. Today with us, we have a founder of Complok, Mari-Liis Soe. Please welcome Mari-Liis.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Likewise. Thank you for joining us today. When you created Complok, what your main idea and drive to do that?
Before establishing Complok, I was working in different banks all over Europe. I was working in Nordea bank, in other words, Nordics, in ING Bank in Belgium, in other words, Benelux area, and also in Baltics. So I did notice that the problems with preventing money laundering are very similar in different countries. So I was so driven internally to help those fintechs who were struggling to comply with the EU regulations and apply them to their processes. So as a first step, when I left my 9-to-5 secure banking job, I really wanted to help compliance teams globally, and I started to increase compliance awareness. So our first product was e-learning platform, where we delivered financial crime trainings to financial sector, and that's how we started.
Okay, so the product actually evolved quite significantly. Then can you a bit explain from your initial idea from e-learning about compliance to the Complok today?
So being a compliance officer myself, I was thinking that I have seen enough. I have worked in financial sector while also one of the biggest money laundering scandals hit Europe. So we launched the first product where I wanted to deliver a know-how, what I actually learned all my journey. And that's how we onboarded 70 customers from Baltics. And we made a good relationship with those customers. And then we realized, or we interviewed those customers, and we had a close connection. And we understood that problem is not really increasing compliance awareness, but really how to manage and mitigate the risks what they're facing every day. So we understood as a team that there are not so many good solutions available for compliance officer how to tackle the risks. So today they use Excel for managing the regulatory risks, and Excel is not a good tool for managing regulatory risks. So that's how we made a pivot 1.5 years ago, and actually started to build a RegTech instead of EdTech, which we had initially.
Okay. From educational platform, EdTech to RegTech, passing by Excel, which is the most used tool probably in every financial institution.
It is.
Okay,
even today.
It's quite a journey. We know that fintech world is dominated by male. And I believe to be female leader, it's definitely something outstanding in European, at least, fintech. How do you find it, the journey as a female leader, and how did it impact on your leadership style?
That's a very good comment. I think that I was raised in a family where I had 2 brothers. So for me, it's very natural.
You've been raised in Estonia, right?
In Estonia. And I had 2 brothers. So I think it's very natural for me to be surrounded by males. And I actually see it as a challenge to be a female founder in this very masculine world. And honestly, I think I'm a firm believer that good teams are diverse. So there are female founders and male founders. But I agree that when it comes to challenges, it's actually more challenging to raise money. For instance, as a female founder, statistically speaking, if I'm not mistaken, if you only have a female founders, you can raise 2% VC money. Of course, female founders are also not establishing companies that often, so it's the statistic is a little bit not that concrete. And if you already have, let's say, male founder next to you, then you increase your chances to raise money from VCs 5 times. And if we talk about fintechs, then without external funding, it's really complicated to run a companies because we are selling a trust. Even for our customers, they are putting their confidential data to our platform, and we need money in order to be sustainable and comply also with different regulations ourselves.
Yeah, of course, when you're starting platform to gain the trust, it takes time, especially within the financial institutions, right? We know it's a very long sales cycle and long journey, but for your clients, how fast they gain trust with the Complok? How fast they started to really rely on a platform? How long did it take for you to really start onboarding the clients?
Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, first of all, we had a hypothesis basically. So we interviewed 50 compliance teams globally, and we asked, so what is the perfect solution they want to see? So we built a roadmap, taking into account their feedback, and then we made MVP, minimal viable product, and just tested it with 5 customers and got their feedback. And now we are actually enhancing a platform according to the need feedback. So I think that the most crucial part here is to build a very, very good user flow. So it will be easy to use, and it really not create a more job other than actually removing those manual repetitive tasks what compliance needs to do in order to assess the risks in Excel.
Wow, it's actually interesting that I've been interviewing quite some people already, and the journey to market is very different. But what I always find fascinating when startups are really doing it together with the clients, or doing MVP based on clients' feedback, or adjusting product, platform, or whatever solution it is based on clients' needs. So practically, historically, statistically, it's shown much more successful in the long-term run as a result, and easy to scale. How do you see, because you already have 70 institutions onboarded in Baltics, how do you see, is it easy for you would be to scale it?
It has to be. So basically what we are building, and I agree 100%, we are building it for customers. There is a huge competition. So big companies, they have more money, more funding, they can actually, whatever product they want to build, they can do it. So for us, we need to be innovative, and we need to build a product for customers. So that's one thing what each and every startup needs to do. And this is something that we are also taught in the accelerators. If you go through the accelerators, that you're building it for customers. So, and also coming from Estonia, which is so small country, we can't actually operate in Estonia. So it's in our genes to actually build the products which are applicable all over the globe, right? In Estonia, we have 10 unicorns, and that's actually, this is the biggest amount unicorns per capita. So I think that the mentality there is that we are building products which can go global and which we can actually scale outside of Baltics, outside of even European Union.
Indeed, Estonia has a unique position due to early attraction of tech experts, having a lot of startups starting from Skype back in the early 2000s and growing from there. And I think it's really benefits of small countries. When they build something, they need to think how to scale it. Because when you build in a big country, any US, France, any in Asia, China, you focus a lot on your local markets. But then when you want to go outside, it's another type of, it's almost new company. It's another challenge. You're not thinking up front if it's going to be scalable there or not. You really focus internally. Knowing that, and knowing that the competition is very high on risk and compliance market, how do you see navigating this risk, especially risk aspects, and for your clients?
Yeah, but I just wanted to add also something for their other comments, that even Bolt is from Estonia, so their home market is Estonia, right? They are everywhere. You can see their scooters, or you can actually rent a car or take a taxi. So they are testing everything in Estonia. So our testing market is our home market. So we can build until we actually excel. And Estonia is a very innovative country too. We have all governmental services digital. So this is something that we feel comfortable with. We have seen a competition when it comes to first line of defense and operational tools. In other words, everything what comes to KYC, knowing your customers, their transactions, and sanction screening. There the competition is really high. But now as a second line of defense, which is a really pure compliance, we haven't seen that much competition. We have one direct competitor, which is in UK, but other than that, the competition is not yet so high. So
why? Because it's much more challenging. It requires more technical infrastructure. It requires deeper knowledge.
I think that it's natural. So you're focusing for operational problems as a first hand.
Okay.
So
it's
you have
first burden.
Yes. So and then you have a compliance who doesn't have a tool right now to actually assess risks with regards to technologies which are used. So you use something for sanction screening. You have European sanctions. You need to screen your customers, and then you have something for know your customer processes, right?
Yeah.
So you use tools there, and then it's implemented already in the processes. And now you need something for auditing or doing supervisory. And this is not covered yet. And since I am also compliance officer, I have worked in this space for a long time, I have seen that 7 years ago, for instance, there are not so many tools available for first line of defense. So I think that the competition will be high, and our advantage is to be in a market right now, start onboarding smaller customers, help them to grow and increase the efficiency right now. And of course, I always welcome competition. I think that we can learn a lot from competitors.
Yes, that's true. But now when we discuss a bit the risk, Mari-Liis, knowing that female naturally are more prioritize risk and transparency. If it's a case for you, knowing that, how do you run Complok from that perspective? Transparency and risk.
Yeah.
How do you combine it?
That's a very, very good comment, because I think that is it, as it has to be, that we have males who are hunters. They go and do hunting, right? And then we have females who are at home and looking after their family. So of course there is one who actually puts the gas, and then the other one who actually navigates the stop. So and yes, females don't tend to take risks that much, which is also good. So they are more practical. They know that actually they can't take risks which are not informed, which are not consciously taken, and so they don't also do file in so many bankruptcies. So I think it's actually a good thing that females are more related and understanding risks better. If you ask me personally about my journeys, then of course I think that I have worked in both sides and selling investment products when I started my career, and then being a compliance officer. So I think that a good balance is that you understand both. So as a CEO, of course, investors are expecting me to bring 1,000 times growth, right? So of course I need to take risks.
Absolutely.
But I need to understand that what are the consequences of risks. And I think that all fintechs who are actually here, their all goal is actually to take the risks. So we want to help them take risks, but informed decisions, right? So they know that, okay, there is no point for us to actually start onboarding customers from high-risk countries, because that may end up of being license withdrawn, or they might be imposed a fine, and that's not the goal. So
exactly. So basically, you're bringing them data.
Exactly. You have to connect data with risks, right? So I think if you ask any of the CEO, would you like to take too many risks? They would say, no, I don't want to have any risks. But even if you come here by taxi, you're taking a risk, right?
Yeah.
Because you might be hit by another car and something may happen. So risks are everywhere.
You really need to understand what this risk means.
Yes.
What are the consequences if you take it or if you don't?
So good compliance actually helps you to understand that, okay, if you want to go from here to Brussels, I don't know, midi station, you can take a taxi. Then what are the risks if you're taking a taxi? You can go by walk, you can take a metro, you can take a bicycle. But what are the consequences? And as a lawyer, by degree I'm a lawyer, I think that's all what lawyers are doing. They're thinking about what can be a worst scenario. And normally, if you already acknowledge what is the first scenario, then the first scenario is not happening. And that's what we are here, right? That's what we want to help. That's why we want to help those people and those organizations whose goal is to grow quickly.
Understand. So knowing that you are taking feedback from your customer, you adjust your product along with your journey. I believe that Complok has several different features.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, could you please list one or two the most demanding feature from your customer of Complok?
So think about it, if you do your risk assessment, so you have Excel, and now you need data from other users. It's not that you can use your Excel or by yourself only, but you need to get information from different users, right? So Excel cannot be used by multiple users very well, especially if you're taking into account that the compliance people, they have personal liability, which means that they might be imposed a fine. So they want to make sure that all the data, what is in Excel, is relevant. So our tool enables them to send information requests to the other users, and then they don't need to copy and paste this information to the Excel, where it goes directly to our platform, and then they can approve that information and it remains there. And also, if they need to generate reports now, so it's also like they are wasting a lot of time by copying and pasting information from Excel to Word format in order to present that information to the management board and to the regulator. So the greatest kind of advantage what they can is we can give back them their time. So normally the only governance, only put in place that the Excel would take normally up to 2 months. So we can give them back that 2 months.
Okay, so you actually help them to reduce timing.
Absolutely.
Second, you help them to be compliant by preventing problems or fraud using Excel copy-paste. You also focus on accuracy, because in the copy-paste, we know it's a human error.
And audit trail, this is also something that is also important, that if you leave organization, and that has happened with me, for instance, I mean, my personal journey, that I was working for one bank, it ended up of being one of the biggest scandals in Europe, and I left. I was fired actually, and I did not have any access to that data. So I didn't know what bank is actually reporting to the regulator that am I safe? And that's, if you're using Excel, someone can delete that Excel, and they would say to the regulator that, okay, compliance didn't report us anything, and then how can I prove that I did it? So this is something that also what compliance is seeing as a great advantage, that there is an audit trail. So if they would leave, there's someone else who can see the job that they done.
Yeah, so basically all recording is gonna stay on a platform. Even if it's somebody deleted, it's gonna be staying in a platform that's record and it's been deleted by that users.
Exactly.
So which is really helpful for auditing part and proving that it's done accurately.
Absolutely, and even if you think about compliance people, they can send a request to business and ask the business. So tell me, how many high-risk transactions we had last week? And then the statistics come in. So I make, as a compliance officer, I make a judgment based on the data what I received from the business. So I can show that you gave me a wrong input, and that's why I said that risk is low. But if you give me a right impact data, then I can see that risk might be higher. So that's why also it's very important to keep that log, that where the data is coming from, and in order to make any judgment or assessment, data is the most important part. And then if you're using Excel, again, you can't say that, okay, he gave me this data or this data came from there. So you can't attach everything to Excel. So it's an advantage what we can actually offer to our customers.
So we could see that platform making life of many fintechs and company easy with all these integrated aspects. So for fintech companies, it's definitely no-brainer to go for it. But could also please dive into the technology you're using? Do you use already AI latest tool? Do you plan to use, or do you think maybe it's risky?
That's a very good question. Of course, we are AI driven, and I'm a very big fan of AI. I think AI will change the way how we humans work in the future, and especially in the compliance space, where you have to work with so many documents, and this can be generated by AI. So my assumption is that we can reduce 80% of the compliance officer's job, what they do by using AI. For instance, you can chat with your data, right? So you can generate these reports using AI already, because the AI can generate your report based on the data what you insert. So for instance, and also horizon scanning, so you can actually scan external regulations and how much they impact your current risk scoring. But again, here we are. We have AI Act now in place by European Union, and as a lawyer, I agree that there should be some framework, especially when it comes to fraud and etc. etc. So that our identities can be stolen, and I may create accounts everywhere globally if someone is taking my photos from online. So I agree that the regulation needs to be there, but what is a good balance between innovation and regulation? I don't know, because I can see that US, for instance, has a greater advantage now, and we've been also thinking about it, that if we will be very limited of using AI in Europe, then we might also consider to take our company, for instance, to EU, US or Singapore, where we can build, because eventually US is a couple of years ahead, and it will be a couple of years ahead, but then Europe also follow. So most probably in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, we still say that European Union is doing exactly the same things as US does with the AI. But they are just ahead right now, because they don't have a limits that much as we have in Europe.
Okay, so I understood you're in favor of AI, you're using it to uplift your technology and offer, for sure. But can you also share one of the best use cases you have? Like when Complok help clients, I don't know, to save time, to save money, or stay away from uncompleted business, uncompliant business.
So for instance, one thing is a gap analysis. So you have your own risk analysis already done, you upload it to our platform, you ask platform to do gap analysis, and then you can see that what are you missing actually. And the other thing is, for instance, the procedures and policies. So for instance, if you just are like a first user, and let's say that you need to create a document, procedures for money laundering prevention or KYC. So you can ask AI to produce that document. So 80% of the framework is already there.
Okay.
And then you actually need to fill it in the data which is actually relevant for you. So you can save a lot of time. So that is something that we can already do. And also, third thing is report. So basically, you fill in the data in Excel right now.
Yeah.
And you can ask AI to generate a report based on the data and structure it in a way that it's nice and
so basically, it's often the job of, let's say, data analysts within compliance division or within a team or whatever operation. Sometimes it could be within a company, so it's financial institution, which you help to complete with a kind of insurance of the right way and diminishing risk.
Yes, but I just want to emphasize that we are not replacing human intelligence.
Of course.
I think that we as a human, we have a brain and we need to use our brain. So we can only, and we would like to also focus only for things which are removing those manual administrative tasks.
Exactly, you're automating it.
So yeah, basically, my personal opinion is that people should work smarter, not harder, right?
Yeah.
So I think AI is coming here to help us to work smarter, not harder. Of course, it makes a lot of mistakes right now. Even if you think about, let's say, 50 years ago, no one actually believed that we have washing machines and we have laundry machines. And now it's a common practice that we are not doing our laundry, by using our hands, right? Yeah. So it's a technology is here to support humans to actually spend more time in the nature and perhaps find this better balance between your personal life and your professional life.
Absolutely, and that's what we all believe was going to happen. But in reality, we see that a lot of jobs which are changing the landscape, people are taking very stressful. Why? Not in a negative aspect. First, because any change, we always have resistance to it. It's very human. Second, it's really pushing people to change the way of thinking. So the change of mindset. So let's take data analyst or any compliance officer. Before, the person would come to work, to copy Excel or do something, and they prove that the job is done. But now they have a tool which can do much more efficient, fast, reliable, having better score or giving more data which can be driven for organization. Meaning the job of the person needs to be changed towards like, okay, how I'm going to report this data? What conclusions I can derive from this data? What are the predictions I can do from this? So the job of the person getting on the next level, which I completely agree with you, it should be the way, but sometimes it's still not welcoming.
I agree, and especially when we are talking about big corporates, it's so inefficient and full of bureaucracy. And I agree that naturally people are taught, I think at school, that the changes are bad. That's why we need those startup founders. That's why we need innovators to actually lead the way. And then, people will follow. Once you start using, even like if you think about the ChatGPT, people are using it. If they start using it, okay, I need to make my home assignment. I need to make, I don't know, even reference letter to somewhere. I can use it. I can leverage on it. So why don't we want to use it if we can actually use it more efficiently? Of course, it's difficult to change masses and it will take time. I agree. But that's why we innovating the world, right? That's why we need innovation.
That's why inspiring about you, Mari-Liis, that you are up for change and you are up for innovation to move it forward.
I'm really, really bad of doing routines. I need routine. We all need it, but I'm so bad. So I think that naturally, if I do something once, I don't want to do it a second time. And this is me, that I'm
actually a set of innovators, yes. Because they don't like to repeat the same things.
So that is something that, and we need these people. And of course, there are people who are followers, and we also need those people. But of course, leaders need to go ahead, make changes, and then their followers will follow.
Okay.
That's how, I mean, think about it. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't have an iPhone. We didn't have photos that we can actually make from the street. And remember when I heard that someone was talking about it, that, at some point, you don't need a camera. You can actually make photos with a phone. And we were like, what do you mean? It was 20 years ago. How does it happen? You don't need any camera. What do you mean? But now it's so natural that we don't have a camera. So I think that this is something that, I mean,
it's happening.
It will go that way,
okay.
Anyways.
And where does Complok aiming to go? So you are home market Estonia, so you're well established in Baltics. But what is your goal for the next market, for the next target clients? Where do you want to go?
At the moment, we are considering, as we have investors from Switzerland and from Sweden. So most probably our next market will be Benelux, as well as Nordics, and then wider in EU. Where we want to go, I want personally, that's my personal goal, that Complok is known by all compliance teams globally. So this is my goal, that we can help compliance teams, and Complok will be market leader when it comes to compliance technology.
So can I say that is your vision for 5 years?
5 years, yeah, at least in Europe, I would say that it can be done, yes.
Okay. So guys, now you know whom to watch in 5 years. In terms of compliance, Complok should be on your list.
Exactly.
Watch it out. And what about your competition? Do they have the same aim? How do they structure? Do they focus on compliance and aiming to grow? Or do they aim to expand on different offering within
I bring the same example what I already referred. Bolt, they came to the market.
Yeah.
When they had an Uber next to them. No one believed them. No one believed that actually they can do it. But I think that you have dedication, you know what to do, what you have to do. You go, you don't care. I mean, of course you care about the competition, but you are doing your passion. So if someone is taking away from a lover from me, I still love, my love still remains, right?
Exactly.
So you can't, I'm passionate about what I do. You have never seen a compliance officer who is so passionate as I am building a compliance, right? And this is something that I think...
That's true. You don't see many compliance officers
compliance
being
is boring. Why do we need compliance? Compliance is killing our wives. But
nobody likes them.
Nobody, yeah. So this is a prohibition officer coming, kills the business. But no, if you see compliance as your partner, and that's exactly the way how compliance should be seen, then you can grow faster. You make, from very beginning, you make conscious decisions when it comes to risks, and you start managing your risks from the very beginning, you have a huge market advantage in the future.
True. Referring to the Bolt story, I remember, I think I watched about the documentary or some interviews how Bolt started, and when the owner and his family and brothers or sisters or whatever relatives were trying to convince taxi driver to start trying it, giving them for free, giving them explanations, and it was like winter in Estonia. It's long winter actually time.
Yeah, it's all about winter.
And they were almost holidays, and they would keep trying, and there are like everybody been involved. That was really inspiring, and that's exactly the passion what you are referring
And also, yeah, they do it like both founders were brothers. My co-founder is also my cousin. So we've been very close, and we actually went through the same accelerator in Estonia, which is a Shark Tank, and they become second, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2014, or was it 2017? Can't remember. I may mistake. It might be mistaken here, and we won it too. So I think that Estonia, you should never underestimate our kind of
patience.
Patient, and also I think the consistency. Resilience, that we don't give up for some reasons.
Great.
We just go, and I think that that's what the both founders also did. No one believed, they didn't give up, they pushed. In Estonia, it's way cheaper to build products because our even like the labor law is really innovative, so you can hire people, you can hire people.
Versus other European countries,
you can't fire. Even I have also lived in Brussels, so you can't fire people. You have the 6 months notice. So it's
and
so
it's expensive.
Exactly, it is expensive.
If you want to change, oh my God.
Then you have to be, I would say that you need to be already scale up, or you already mature and stable company. So that's why we are also considering where to establish our headquarters in the future, because in Estonia it's so easy. It's so easy.
Absolutely, you can do everything online. I got registered there online when I was
even you can get married online. It's not that I'm recommending it, but this was the last thing that didn't want to do a long time, but now it's also possible. So 100% our governmental services are online.
Wow.
This is something that people wouldn't understand, but I think that the way how we came out from European Union, from Soviet Union, now we are European Union, right? So I think that we were so open for innovation.
Absolutely.
And we actually leveraged a lot from that.
Yeah. And how do you see compliance and risk changes with the next decade?
They need to have a lot of changes, because now people are, even big banks, they are recruiting more people to do manual tasks. So you hire people who are smart, who have gone through the universities. You pay them a lot of salary. So average, I don't know, 100,000 euros per month, per year, up to 200,000 euros per year. Right. So you hire smart people to do manual tasks. They are demotivated. So you need to find a motivation for them. So machines are there to help us. So this is transformation and revolution what we need to make in compliance in the next 10 years.
Okay, we expect a lot of changes, like
yes,
entire bank digitalization.
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, this is compliance. If you talk to compliance, anyone who understands compliance, they're like, oh, this is a bureaucracy. There's so many rules and so many requirements. How can we actually? And then, CEOs are like, we need to recruit more people. I don't want to recruit more people. Come me with a solution. Tell me how we can actually run my risks more efficiently. I don't want to recruit more people, because people are always, cost center, right?
Yes, I hear you. To finalize, we are going to have a blitz questions. There are going to be 5 surprise questions with a fast answer.
Very fast.
Possible one word.
One word, okay.
One word to describe the future of compliance.
Efficiency.
What is your favorite tech tool to stay organized?
Notes.
Wow, I like it too. Biggest lesson you learned being a female founder?
Raising the money. It's very difficult as being also a single mom of 2. So this is our biggest challenge, to raise money actually.
Okay. One regulation business should watch in 2025?
AI Act.
The person who inspires you the most in fintech space?
In fintech space? Klarna founder.
Wow. Thank you very much,
You're very
Mari-Liis. It really was a pleasure to have you on our Start of Fintech series. Before I let you go, could you please tell our listeners where they can learn more about Complok and maybe to join your platform?
Okay, so complok.eu, that's our website. But I'm very active in LinkedIn, so you are all welcome to follow me on LinkedIn. Mari-Liis Soe, add me, and then we can keep in touch there. Thank you.
I'm Ina Kostuk, and today I'm happy to have my guest Mari-Liis on the Stars of Fintech series, and we'll have more platforms on the comments. Please let us know what you think. See you next time. Ciao.
Ciao.